Who is going to book their spot in the Backlash main event when Cena takes on Benoit tonight? But more importantly, who's going to book their spot in our top spot for the SmackDown Top 5 Moments? Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. It is SmackDown. It's the road to Backlash. It's been a good road so far. WrestleMania is done and dusted, but they're not taking their foot off the gas. We're still getting some great stuff.
It's full steam ahead. A-Train would be proud of this train. And I tell you what, you've got a great theme at Backlash. Cold by Remedy or Remedy by Cold. I don't care what way it's about, damn it. Some great stuff. Great theme to kick off this show. But this is top 5 moments, and let's see what moments delivered.
Yeah, let's see what moments here make the list. A lot of good moments, but as always, we need to narrow them down to 5. And coming in 5th place, we have the Brock Lesnar segment, interrupted obviously by Cena and Benoit. I mean, it was good to see these 3 guys in the ring. Brock looking at his potential challengers for Backlash. Obviously, it was Cena and Benoit in the tournament final later that night. They had a little bit of a pushing contest. Who respects who? Benoit, Brock looking at each other. Cena, Benoit looking at each other. Cena, Lesnar looking at each other. Hell, why not just give us a triple threat match?
You could have gave a triple threat match, but I think that would have opened the door for someone to, you know, sneak a pin maybe potentially on Brock. But I think Cena deserves it, right? Here, we like Benoit. No clipping out of context, but Cena's really went up a few levels, man, the past few weeks, and almost feels like the second biggest threat on SmackDown in the matter of weeks.
I mean, yeah, you could argue that Benoit has had a title shot as recent as the Rumble, albeit he's not had a match against Brock Lesnar, and it would be a good match for sure, but here, we'll get that down the line.
I like Benoit, right, but it's almost like he has a title match, but he doesn't ever feel like world champion, if you know what I mean. The only real time I feud Ben was the main eventers when he won the belt.
Well, it's the only time he did win the belt, like, wasn't it?
You know, but you know what I mean? It's like, yes, in 2001, him and Jericho feuded with Triple H and Austin, triple threat match with Austin and Jericho, but he never felt like a main event guy. And even when he had all these matches against Kurt Angle and they were doing the tag team stuff, he never felt like, oh, like when he came out in the Rumble, did I go, that guy's a main event? Even when he won the 04 Rumble, he feels like a weak Rumble winner. But when he main events Mania and he defeats Triple H, you have to kind of just, well, you know what, like this guy's, when he's doing that, he can't be that bad.
Triple H doesn't job out for just anybody, right? Speaking of jobbing out, Sable was willing to do the job for TORRIE with Stable once again confronting TORRIE backstage, stripping down, taking her top off, wanting TORRIE to help her unbutton. TORRIE not really liking these Sable advances, but we've got some sort of weird lesbian thing going on here. Definitely booked by Finny Mac himself.
Yeah, Finny Mac booking this, but you know what?
I'm just surprised Finny Mac's not in the middle.
Well, he'll probably be in the middle in the coming weeks, like, but what is Torrie Wilson greeting about this in the future? Oh, I was forced to do it. It's a storyline, isn't it, at the end of the day? And it's some good fucking television.
Look, I mean, TORRIE can say what she wants, but there's a reason why TORRIE was in Playboy. There's a reason why TORRIE was always in a bikini and Molly Holly was not. Because Molly Holly didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is
could have very easily have done it.
It's very weak, I think, Torrie Wilson, years down the line, claiming that, you know, this is not really what she wanted to do. I mean, regretting it's one thing, but, you know, don't pass the buck.
What I think it is, though, I think a lot of the women in the past will probably look at today's wrestling and go, oh, look, they made it not on looks, they made it on wrestling ability. But the reality is, that's pathetic.
But you know what, man? I don't know why the women of the past, like, try and, like, fit into today's standards, because Torrie Wilson was way more over in her prime than any female wrestler today. Hands down. Undeniable. It's not even close. I don't care if you're talking about Charlotte Flair or Rhea Ripley or Bayley or whatnot. It doesn't matter who. Torrie Wilson in 2003 is more popular than they could wish to be. Doesn't matter that she never held the Women's Championship. It's a fake belt at the end of the day. Torrie Wilson was way more popular. It's not even denied.
No, it is. And you know what? It extends beyond the women. You know, Hulk Hogan and The Rock, Austin, those guys, Cena, they get over on their look. They don't get over because of their wrestling ability. You know what I mean? Hogan could barely wrestle, but he was great. You know what I mean? It's just like but see, Hulk Hogan, right, and Austin, they're never going to. I know they were never really sexualized, but they're never going to turn around and say, "Oh, I wish McMahon didn't force me to take steroids and actually made me focus more on my wrestling ability," because they'd be fucking lying to themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I mean, maybe you could look at some of the women that actually like were only kind of wrestlers back then, and maybe they could make the argument, "Oh, I kind of wish I was in today's era." But you know,
Jazz still going, by the way.
Apart from that, like let's not pretend here that Torrie Wilson was hard done by.
Nope,
she was way more popular than anybody today. And anyway, coming in number 3, we've got Piper's Pit. Certainly wasn't as good as Piper's Pit with McMahon. Let's just throw that out there. But
when you lose McMahon and throw in Sean O'Hare, it's going to go down that.
Yeah, listen, I don't think anybody expected this Piper's Pit to be as good. But I mean, it was still decent. Jimmy Snuka comes out. Roddy Piper, Jimmy Snuka settle their differences. Snuka gets attacked from O'Hare. Rikishi makes the save, and Rikishi and Snuka get left laying in the ring, and Rikishi throws out a challenge to Piper for next week. We're going to see Piper in action. Could be a good one, or it could be absolutely stinking. Right, depends on what you're looking at.
We'll see what it's like, but Jimmy Snuka got the stare of a cold-hearted murderer.
He does. Second place with Eddie versus Jamie Noble. I mean, I didn't really dig that. Well, the match was alright. It was 2 minutes long. That's all it needed to be. But we had some Shelton Benjamin El España Odale promo at the beginning there. Charlie Haas talked about how Eddie Guerrero's mother was the best maid that they ever had. Eddie didn't like that. And then Eddie and Chavo threw some gay jokes out at the end.
You bring no meaning to your sockets, eh?
Yeah, you guys wrestle, you climb all over each other, and then Chavo says, you bring a whole new meaning. Probably the best line Chavo's had.
Ever?
Yeah, so that's coming out second place. First place, number 1 spot, main event, CENA, Benoit, main event at SmackDown, it's main event in our top 5. Really good match. Not as good as Cena Taker, but still good. More of a wrestling style match here. Cena pretty green, but still able to deliver with the crippler, Chris Benoit. Benoit gets out-wrestled, surprisingly, by Cena. Cena manages to catch Benoit, going for a sunset flip. Cena gets down on him, gets the cover, gets the free count. Cena beats Benoit. Maybe a bit of an upset here. Either way, he will be the one going to Backlash. And that's it, guys. That's your top 5 moments there for this SmackDown. I think SmackDown has been decent since the WrestleMania, no doubt about it. But I still think that Raw's been the A show. And who knows, maybe...
No, Raw has been the A show, but when you look at SmackDown, Cena is like the perfect prototype / blueprint of how to book someone, right? He's come out and he's went from like being like an absolute jobber after the whole thing with Kurt Angle. He learned how to rap, rebuilt his career, and there's no looking back now. He's quite clearly in the top 3 guys. Now, when Kurt Angle and Undertaker come back, right, obviously he's behind them, but I think it's a good thing that it took Cena 2 years from this point to actually get the title. They just had to polish him.
You don't want to push somebody too soon. Anyway, it will be interesting to see what happens. I think once the pay-per-views become brand split it, and once you get the exclusive SmackDown pay-per-views and exclusive Raw pay-per-views, because that can add that can just change up the entire shows, because you're going to be getting mid-card guys now getting feuds going into pay-per-views, and I mean it should flesh out, I think, the entire rosters on both SmackDown and Raw more.
But you could argue it could weaken the actual shows because there's less payoff on TV and more focus on pay-per-views for the mid-card guys. So it's got both sides of the coins, but you know what? They had to do it. Both rosters were pretty great at this point, especially when you factor in so many guys are due to come back from injury. But Big John, carrying the show.
Big John. Anyway, guys, that's it. Leave a like, leave a comment. Until next time, peace.